Hello, a very good evening. Welcome to the 10th Avenue Extension Greater Estate, Nungwa Adegono. This is MBN TV, your mega broadcasting network. We're coming to you live for the mega news at 6. We take a look at the headlines.
Mahama shakes up National Security Secretariat with new appointments. In business, Ghana loses $168 million annually to tomato imports, CSIR. And on the international front, woman pulled alive from rubble 36 hours after Colombia quake.
My name is El Samuels. The news is also live across all our social media handles on MBN 360. We'll bring you details of this news, the major business, sports and entertainment and international story after this break. Now the details of the story. The President, John Dramani Mahama, has reorganized the National Security Council Secretariat, announcing new appointments and reassignment aimed at streamlining operations and strengthening Ghana's security architecture.
Major General retired William Anyamdo, a former Chief of Army Staff, has been appointed Deputy National Security Coordinator. The reshuffle also sees the former National Security Coordinator Yao Donko reassigned as Director of Intelligence and Research at the Office of the National Security Advisor. Assistant Commissioner of Police Alhassan Osman, who served as Director of Investigations at the Secretariat, has been reassigned to the Ghana Police Service for further deployment. Other appointments include Adamu Saka as Director of Logistics and Transport, Faustina Efa-Boidi as Officer in charge of the Human Security Department, and retired DCOP Peter Indekugri as Officer in charge of the Special Investigations Unit. The presidency says the changes are intended to improve efficiency, streamline operations, and strengthen the country's capacity to respond to emerging security challenges. The appointments and reassignments take immediate effect.
Now turning our attention to the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment has reaffirmed its commitment to creating more opportunities for young Ghanaians with skills development, entrepreneurship, decent employment, and youth participation in governance among its key priorities.
The Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment says it is stepping up efforts to equip Ghana's youth with the skills and opportunities needed to contribute to national development. The ministry says its priorities include expanding skills development and lifelong learning, supporting youth entrepreneurship and innovation, and promoting decent employment and economic inclusion. It also wants to strengthen young people's participation in governance and civic engagement while improving mental health awareness and psychosocial support. The ministry's 2026 to 2029 development plan identifies youth unemployment, skills development, innovation, and stronger coordination of youth programs as key areas of focus. Among the initiatives being pursued is the Jumara program, which aims to support at least 10,000 young entrepreneurs annually between the ages of 18 and 35. The ministry says the goal is to build an inclusive, skilled, and empowered generation capable of driving Ghana's economic and social transformation.
Everybody in this room can leverage on the digital age to find meaningful employment. But are we ready to take over, to take advantage? Artificial intelligence is here with us. Digital commerce is here. People have, all you need is data in your mobile phone and you can start earning money. But what are we turning it into? We take our phones and the first thing we do is to insult our leaders. Oh, Papa, wait, when that same minute, that same data you are using, you can use it to generate revenue for yourself. You can use it to create employment for yourself. Use AI to solve problems. Don't just look for jobs online. Look for ways to create value online.
Away from the Youth Employment Ministry, let's go to the health sector, where the Ministry of Health has denied reports of a shortage of antiretroviral medicines in Ghana, assuring persons living with HIV that the AVRs remain available at designated health facilities across the country.
The Ministry of Health has dismissed reports of a nationwide shortage of antiretroviral medicines, assuring persons living with HIV of continued access to their medication. The ministry says ARVs remain available at designated health facilities across the country, while efforts are underway to restock medical commodities at the medical stores. The clarification follows concerns raised by the Network of Persons Living with HIV in Ghana, NAP plus Ghana, over the availability and distribution of the medicines. The ministry has also rejected claims that some ARVs have expired at the port, saying it is working with relevant stakeholders to ensure the timely clearance and distribution of medical supplies. It says it has engaged NAP plus Ghana and remains committed to ensuring uninterrupted and equitable access to HIV treatment.
Now, so some governance stories where governance expert Dr. John Osei Kwapon is calling for the Office of the Special Prosecutor to be entrenched in the Ghana's constitution to prevent future governments from easily repealing the law establishing the Anti-Corruption Agency.
Governance expert Dr. John Osei Kwapon is proposing constitutional protection for the Office of the Special Prosecutor, saying this could prevent the institution from being abolished by future governments. He argues that the OSP should be entrenched in the Constitution to strengthen its independence and ensure continuity in the fight against corruption. Dr. Osei Kwapon says constitutional protection would make it more difficult for any government to repeal the legislation establishing the office for political or other reasons. The proposal comes amid ongoing discussions about strengthening Ghana's anti-corruption institutions and ensuring they remain independent and effective.
Away from the constitutional matters, we do some trade stories where the Traders Advocacy Secretariat has called for proper market infrastructure and consultation within the traders as Ghana's prepare to implement the 24-hour economy, cautioning against forcefully relocating traders without providing suitable alternatives.
A traders advocacy secretary is calling for proper market facilities and stakeholder consultation as government rolls out its 24-hour economy agenda. The traders representative says the policy should not result in the forced relocation of traders without adequate and accessible alternative markets. He argues that properly planned markets with the necessary infrastructure and services are essential to making the 24-hour economy work effectively. The call comes amid discussions on how to reorganize commercial activities and create an enabling environment for businesses to operate around the clock. The traders group is urging government to engage traders and other stakeholders to ensure the policy supports businesses rather than disrupting their livelihoods.
Now let's do some health story where the National Health Insurance Authority has launched its 80th campaign, an initiative aimed at increasing national health insurance coverage to at least 80% as Ghana works towards achieving universal health coverage.
The National Health Insurance Authority has launched the 80 campaign to expand health insurance coverage across Ghana. The campaign seeks to increase NHIS membership to at least 80% of the population, building on the authority's ongoing efforts to enroll more uninsured residents. The NHIS says More than 26 million people had been enrolled on the National Health Insurance Scheme as of July, representing about 76% national coverage. The authority says it is confident of reaching the 80% target by the fourth quarter of 2026. The campaign forms part of efforts to advance universal health coverage by ensuring more Guineans can access healthcare without facing financial barriers.
And that does it for the major stories coming up. We'll bring you business and its details with Nadede Gogo after the break.
Let me introduce you to Farm Global Company Limited. At Farm Global, we offer you a variety of groceries and provisions to choose from. Cosmetics, perfume, bedsheets, undies, boxes, you can mention all. This is our perfume stand, and we have variety of perfumes you can choose from for yourself and your loved ones. We cover Latapa, fragrance world, and quality perfumes that will last long on your body. On our cosmetic section, we have variety of lotions, creams, hair pomade that can keep you going. Let your feet do the talking and your hand do the showcasing. Your babies are not left out. We got you covered. At Farm Global, we make shopping a beautiful experience for you and your family. You can be at home, send your list and get it delivered for free. Yes, for free. We know you can pay for it, but we want to show appreciation. We bring everything to you at your doorstep. Locate Farm Global on the Nungwabuade Road, just opposite Redeemer Chemist. Call us on 0592 0999 52 or 050 384 3633. Farm Global, fast, reliable, and convenient.
Welcome back from that break. This is the business news with me, Nadede Gogo. In business, Ghana spends about 168 million US dollars every year on fresh and processed tomatoes imports, according to researchers at the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR.
Ghana spends about 168 million US dollars annually on tomato imports, highlighting the country's continued dependence on imported food. Researchers at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, say Ghana's annual demand for fresh and processed tomatoes exceeds 1.4 million metric tons, but local production meets only about 15 to 18% of that demand. The researchers say fresh tomato imports, mainly from Burkina Faso, cost Ghana about 80 million US dollars annually, while processed tomato imports from China and Europe account for about 150 million US dollars. CSIR says the production gap is linked to challenges including limited access to quality seeds, inadequate irrigation, pests and diseases, declining soil fertility, and weak extension services. It is calling for greater investment in irrigation, certified seed production, mechanization, and research to boost domestic tomato production and reduce the country's import bill.
Still in business, global oil prices are nearing 90 US dollar a barrel, raising concerns about renewed pressure on fuel prices in Ghana. Brent crude rose to around 89 US dollars a barrel on Wednesday amid concerns over disruptions to global oil supplies.
Global oil prices are edging closer to $90 a barrel, raising concerns about renewed pressure at Ghana's fuel pumps. Brent crude rose to about $89 a barrel, driven by concerns over possible disruptions to oil supplies following attacks on shipping routes in the Middle East. The development could put further pressure on fuel prices in Ghana, where palm prices are closely influenced by international crude prices and movements in the cedi. Ghana already saw higher petrol and diesel prices from August, following increases in global crude prices and other pricing factors. Analysts warn that sustained increases in crude prices could raise transport and business costs and add to pressure on household budgets. With tensions in key oil-producing and transit regions continuing, consumers are now watching closely to see whether the latest surge in global oil prices will translate into another increase at the pumps.
That's all for business news. Up next is sports and entertainment with Wendy Latte.
Hi, welcome to Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth. Our serene environment and cozy rooms provides a pleasant stay. To book a room with us, call 055 5940 and 0241 972076. Locate us at Teshinungwa Estate, number 8 Coconut Street, directly behind A-Life Supermarket. Shiloh Guest House, where comfort meets warmth.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching Mega News at 6 on MBN TV, and I'm Wendy Latte. Now, in the world of sports, Medeama FC Communications Director Willie Graham says the club's decision to return to Cote d'Ivoire for pre-season was influenced by the success they enjoyed after last season's camp there.
Medeama FC have returned to Cote d'Ivoire for their pre-season preparations, hoping to repeat the success of last season. The Ghana Premier League champions are currently in Abidjan for a 3-week residential camp ahead of their title defense and CAF Champions League campaign. Medeama Communications Director Willie Graham says the club chose Cote d'Ivoire again because the previous pre-season camp helped prepare the team for their successful league campaign. He says the familiar environment provided the players with the right conditions to prepare mentally, physically, and emotionally. Medeama have already played 2 friendly matches in Cote d'Ivoire, beating Yamoussoukro FC 2-1 before losing 2-1 to SOA. The club will return to Ghana after the camp as preparations continue for a demanding domestic and continental season, including their CAF Champions League clash with TP Mazembe.
Last season, we were in Ivory Coast, Abidjan here, specifically for our preseason. The team and the players, mentally, physically, emotionally. And so we believed that this is a very good place for us, and that's the reason we are back again at the same venue for our preseason. Whatever that we did here last year that helped, we are still getting the same thing, and we believe that's also going to help us in winning the Premier League or retaining the Premier League title, or also doing better in the CAF Champions League. I mean, every player's main target is to help the team, Media SC, to get to the group stages of the competition. We are not giving individual targets. We are giving everybody targets to work on. It's a team competition.
Away from sports, we move to the entertainment segment, where more than 35,000 fans gathered at the Milton Keynes National Ball for the UK debut of Meet Lauryn Hill's Diaspora Calling Festival, celebrating Black music, culture, and the global African diaspora.
More than 35,000 fans have attended the UK debut of Lauryn Hill's Diaspora Calling Festival in Milton Keynes. The event, held at the National Bowl, brought together major names from across the African diaspora and the global music industry. The lineup included Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, Erykah Badu, YG Mali, Zion Mali, Giggs, Fireboy DML, Sion Kuti, and the Composers, with comedian Dave Chappelle serving as hosts. A major highlight was Hill and Wyclef Jean reuniting to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the Fugees' landmark album, The Score. The festival also featured music, arts, and cultural activities aimed at strengthening connections among communities across Africa and its global diaspora. Diaspora Calling was conceived by Lauryn Hill as a platform to celebrate and connect African descendant communities through music, culture, and creative expression.
That's all for today on sports and entertainment. Coming up is the foreign news.
MBN Jasuni from Ejahima. So Pasauba MBN Jasua from 0245 88 2128. MBN Jasu coming home na yendi eja at the right place.
Welcome back from the business, sports, and also entertainment segment of the Evening Bulletin, live and direct from our studios on the 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate, Mega News on MBN TV. Now, on the foreign front, a 32-year-old woman has been rescued alive after spending 36 hours trapped beneath the rubble of a collapsed building in Pereira, Colombia, following a powerful earthquake.
A 32-year-old woman has been pulled alive from the rubble of a collapsed building in Pereira, Colombia, 36 hours after a powerful earthquake struck the country. Rescuers located the woman, identified as Daniela Lago, about 10 hours before they were finally able to reach and free her. The dramatic rescue sparked cheers and applause from exhausted rescue crews and residents gathered at the scene. The earthquake caused widespread destruction across western Colombia, with hundreds of people reported dead or injured. Emergency teams continue to search damaged buildings for survivors using sniffer dogs, heavy machinery, and human rescue chains. The rescue of Daniela Lago has raised hopes that more survivors could still be found beneath the rubble.
Away from Colombia, at least 44 people have died after an overcrowded ferry capsized in Zimbabwe's Lake Kariba, with a rescue and recovery operation continuing.
Zimbabwean police say the death toll from Tuesday's ferry disaster on Lake Kariba has risen to at least 44. The ferry, operated by the Rural Infrastructure Development Agency, was carrying at least 114 adults and 5 crew members, despite having a capacity of 90 passengers. Authorities say 77 people have been rescued, while the full number of passengers remain uncertain because some children may not have been included in ticket records. The vessel reportedly capsized after encountering strong waves about 30 minutes after leaving Kariba town for islands and fishing communities. Specialist underwater teams have joined the search as authorities recover bodies from the lake. Lake Kariba, which lies between Zimbabwe and Zambia, is the world's largest man-made lake by volume. The disaster is among the deadliest recorded boat accidents on the lake.
And on that sad note from African Story from Zimbabwe, we come to the end of this evening bulletin, coming to you from our studios at Nungwa at Dogono 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate. But before we take leave, let's take a second look at the stories making headlines.
Mahama shakes up National Security Secretariat with new appointments. In business, Ghana loses $168 million annually to tomato imports, CSIR. And on the international front, woman pulled alive from rubble 36 hours after Colombia quake.
Thanks for staying with us. The news was brought to you business with Nadede Gogo, sports and entertainment with Wendy Nadu Latte. My name is El Samuels. For more news, log on to MBN3 Sustain. Do have a good evening.